Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got how good was Jerry Rice actually? Hey man, it's always been this big debate of who is the better wide receiver between Randy Moss and Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice had over 1,500 catches, over 22,000 receiving yards, and damn near 200 touchdowns, bro. And Randy Moss, on the other hand, he had 982 catches. He had over 15,000 receiving yards and 156 touchdowns, bro. So, hey, bro, I after seeing that, bro, comparing the stats, Jerry Rice did have a better career, but I feel like Randy Moss was more dynamic than what Jerry Rice was. But they're both really good in their own, you know what I'm saying, aspects, bro. But let's go ahead and check this out.
Number one, I would like to be the all-time receiver.
I think growing up in Crawford, Mississippi is just like all family. Everybody, they were very close.
What goals have you set for yourself?
If fate hadn't intervened, he may never have played organized football.
After I got disciplined, then the principal wanted me to go out for the football team, and I
Were you great right away?
No, not at all.
Rice is mostly recognized as the greatest wide receiver in NFL history. But how did this outsider from a little Mississippi town rise to popularity? Well, look at his extraordinary path. From skipping class in high school to shattering NFL records, and determine if he truly merits the title of GOAT. So buckle up and get ready to learn how Jerry Rice went from an unknown kid to a football legend. He grew up as the sixth of 8 children in a Mississippi hamlet of only 600 people. Rice's parents had to labor tirelessly just to put food on the table. Mrs. Rice would clean the homes of wealthy folks, while Mr. Rice worked as a mason, among other odd occupations. In order to contribute, Jerry and his brothers would frequently pick corn, cotton, carrots, and bale.
Whoa, picking cotton?
Rice's goal had shifted so far away from one day making
Hold up
the
now.
NFL that he hadn't even played organized football by high school. He enjoyed playing it outside with friends and watching it on television, but his mother believed it was too rough for him to join his school's team. Then, on a random school day, Rice did something he shouldn't have. And everything changed.
What happened?
When his school's assistant principal discovered him and a friend skipping class, Rice fled the scene as if his life depended on it. The assistant principal was so impressed with Rice's speed that he notified the football coach about it.
No fucking way, bro. There's no way, bro. This day and time, that shit would not happen.
Rice a spot on the squad, but his mother still did not want him to play.
That's crazy.
However, the more she resisted, the more determined her son was to see it through. So she eventually gave in, and Rice's football career was formally launched. Every day that summer, at 7 a.m., he and one of his brothers joined his father to lay bricks for 8-hour stints on blistering hot days.
Damn.
Jerry explained, "My brother and I, we had developed this technique where you throw the bricks up. They were separated and I was snatching them in the air." Repeating this exercise improved Jerry's hand-eye coordination and hand strength. He also stated that the event showed him the true value of hard effort, as if the daily arduous shifts weren't enough. After work, Rice would be dropped off for a 2-hour football practice, after which he would run 5 miles home. Rice admitted that he wasn't the most skilled or talented player on the squad, but he did have something that none of his teammates did: a respect for and love of hard work. Rice was in incredible physical shape at the outset of his junior season, ready to finally show the world what he could accomplish on the football field. He was a wide receiver as well as a defensive back. However, because his school was so small, the majority of his statistics were not officially recorded. However, a sports journalist from the time stated that Rice, as a senior, caught 50 passes for 30 touchdowns. Regardless of the exact figures, he accomplished enough to garner a Mississippi All-State selection and consideration from big institutions. Over 40 Division I institutions approached Rice, including his preferred school, Mississippi State University, but none of them believed in him enough to give a scholarship. Mississippi Valley State, a Division I AA institution, was the only program to accomplish this. Rice reflected on why he eventually committed to them, saying, "Mississippi Valley sent up a coach, and I had the opportunity to speak with him and shake his hand. That goes a long way toward making you believe you can truly trust someone." Rice also stated, "At the time they were also throwing the ball about 90% of the time, so it was a fantastic opportunity for me. They assured me that the ball was going to be in the air, coming my way, and that it was up to me to show everyone that I could be a professional athlete." He arrived in college eager to show Mississippi Valley's right to believe in him. As a freshman, he had 30 receptions for 428 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Pretty decent
Rice
start.
followed up to the next season with 66 receptions for 1,133 yards and 7 touchdowns. Rice realized that
Fully
playing
doubled
in
his
such a
catches.
small program would require him to put up eye-popping numbers in order to get the attention of clubs and scouts at the next level. His junior season would most likely determine whether or not he made it to the pros. The endeavor was considerably more difficult for him than people imagined. As he explained, the nourishment provided to him at school was insufficient for a growing man. Rice's circumstances were so difficult that he frequently had to rely on his friends for food. Yet this
Damn,
lack
bro.
of nourishment did not prevent him from doing extra work with his QB. The two became
Y'all be
inseparable
grateful for
as
what
they
y'all
put in
got,
hours
bro.
of extra exercises together
Everybody's not
late
fortunate.
at night that season. Their on-field chemistry was obvious. Rice set NCAA records for the most receptions, 102, and receiving yards, 1,450, on his route to
Damn.
being named an All-American. Just in case that wasn't enough to send a strong message to the NFL, Rice managed to elevate his game to new heights. As a senior, he broke both of his previous records with 103 receptions for 1,682 yards and 27 receiving touchdowns. Rice, who had been chosen an All-American again, obliterated every Mississippi Valley receiving record, finishing with 301 receptions for 4,693 yards and 50 touchdowns. Throughout his college career, he set 18 NCAA records. It didn't matter what school he attended, Jerry Rice belonged in the NFL. Bill Walsh, the legendary 49ers coach, fell in love with him after watching his collegiate highlights. Walsh's squad had won 2 Super Bowls in the previous 4 seasons, and he was confident Rice could keep them there. Walsh regarded him as a quick, smooth player with excellent instincts for running with the ball, getting to the ball, and catching in crowded situations. San Francisco was motivated by this study to be bold on draft day and traded their first, second, and third round selections for the first and third round selections of New England. Rice never imagined that the 49ers would accomplish something with the 16th pick of the 1985 draft. He was drafted by them. He said, "To be honest, I never thought I was going to get drafted." Years later,
Damn.
Rice was determined to repay the 49ers, who had taken a chance on him going into his first season. In the end, Rice was placing too much pressure on himself, and he wanted to prove to everyone that he belonged in the league and that his phenomenal college stats weren't merely the result of weak opposition. He only has 28 receptions for 493 yards and 2 scores in his first 13 games. Rice reflected on this poor start, saying, "I think I overdid it because I wanted to prove myself so much. I was getting booed by the fans and the media when I started dropping footballs."
Damn.
Although this treatment may have triggered a loss of control in some players, it served as a
Probably
strong
motivated him.
awakening for Rice. He reverted to his previous habits by being the first player to arrive on the field for practice and the last one to depart. This
W
dedication
mindset,
paid
bro.
off in Week 14 against the Rams, where Rice had an exceptional performance with 10 receptions, 241 yards,
Damn.
and a score. After a span of 2 weeks, during the final game of the regular
shit, that was
season,
crazier
he
last-
achieved
no,
7
no,
receptions
not
for a
last year,
total
but,
of 111
that was crazier
yards,
back then
prompting
because of
CBS
how much they
commentator
ran the
Pat
ball.
Summerall to confidently proclaim, "The conclusion of his first season was remarkably powerful and created a significant amount of excitement leading up to his second year. Everyone was eager to determine whether it was a fortunate occurrence or an indication of future events. The question would receive a definitive answer during the 1986 season. Rice emerged as the top performer in the league, accumulating an impressive 1,570 receiving yards
Damn.
and securing 15 touchdown grabs. He demonstrated occasional moments of exceptional intelligence and skill, suggesting that there were no tasks beyond his capabilities. Rice possessed the capacity to successfully receive a short pass and thereafter elude defenders, surpass them in terms of pace and route execution, or outmaneuver defenders in order to secure contested balls. Having achieved the status of first-team All-Pro, he was now brimming with confidence. Rice continued to excel after his outstanding season, delivering what could be considered the most exceptional season ever achieved by a receiver. During the strike-shortened 1987 season,
That season where
Rice
he had
achieved an
22
impressive total
touchdowns?
of 1,078 yards and set a league record with 22 receiving touchdowns in only 12 games. Currently, the league's record for receiving touchdowns stands at a mere 23, a feat accomplished by Randy Moss in just 16 games. Rice solidified his position as one of the emerging stars in the league and was bestowed with the title of Offensive Player of the Year. making him the inaugural wide receiver to receive this.
And it's crazy that Randy Moss had almost as many touchdowns as Jerry Rice, like on, you know what I'm saying, way less catches and way less yards too.
With an already impressive resume,
crazy,
boasting several solo achievements.
And Randy Moss averaged more yards per catch than Jerry Rice.
In 1988, Rice embarked on a mission to accomplish that goal. He assembled another commanding regular season, earning his third consecutive first-team All-Pro nod. During the postseason, he single-handedly carried San Francisco and contributed to their Super Bowl berth by making 10 receptions for 194 yards and scoring 5 touchdowns in the team's 2 victories.
Oh, bro, I thought that shit was in one game. I was about to say, the fuck?
Rice solidified his place in the annals of NFL history by guiding the 49ers to another championship victory, marking his inaugural triumph. He established 2 Super Bowl records by making 11 receptions for a total of 215 yards. Rice achieved the distinction of becoming only the 3rd wide receiver in history to gain the title of Super Bowl MVP. This accolade marked the culmination of an exceptionally dominant performance by a receiver during the postseason, leaving him with a sense of unparalleled success and elation. His situation improved consistently. In this subsequent season, Rice achieved the highest number of receiving yards and touchdowns in the league, with 1,483 and 17 respectively, before securing his second championship. Once again, he demonstrated exceptional performance in the Super Bowl, making 7 grabs for 148 yards and scoring
his son Brendan Rice has got a huge legacy to live up to.
Unofficial Triple Crown for receiving by leading in all 3 primary categories with 100 receptions for 1,502 yards and 13 touchdowns. Practically speaking, Rice could not have planned his initial 6 seasons any more effectively. He has already achieved a sufficient number of accomplishments to last a whole career. At this stage, it was well acknowledged that it was impossible to effectively defend against Rice. Regardless of the defensive strategy or opposing team's efforts, he would inevitably find a way to get open. During the subsequent 4 seasons, Rice consistently maintained his dominance over rival defenses. Throughout that period, he accumulated an astonishing 374 receptions for 5,409 yards and 52 touchdowns. He had the most receiving yards and touchdowns in the league on 2 occasions.
Make that shit
also received another Offensive Player of the Year title. In 1994, Rice won his 3rd championship ring, further solidifying his place in history. Similar to his performances in his first 2
maybe
Super Bowls,
you can't say Jerry Rice was better than Randy Moss, because Randy Moss didn't even have a ring, bro.
Rice effortlessly dominated
let alone
the game,
3,
making his opponents appear significantly inferior. He concluded the game with 10 catches for 149 yards and 3 scores. In that specific game, the player achieved remarkable results, setting historic records for the Super Bowl. He made 28 receptions, gained 512 yards, and scored 7 touchdowns, all of which were the highest in his career. At this point, people seemed to overlook Rice's exceptional talent, so he needed to do something truly extraordinary to astonish anyone. And that's precisely what he accomplished. During the 1995 season, setting a league record for the most receiving yards in a single season with 1,848.
Oh, that's hell by Megatron now.
Did Rice began to resemble a
Cooper Kupp damn near broke that shit a few seasons ago.
In 1997. He is amazing despite having torn both his ACL and MCL in the 49ers season opener, as it may sound. Before that, Rice had never missed a game in the NFL, college, or high school. Furthermore, Rice disregarded medical advice in order to return in time for Joe Montana's jersey retirement, even though this injury should have prevented him from playing the entire season. Rice's touchdown catch in that Week 16 game electrified the fans. But there was a sad twist when he returned and dropped the ball. He left patella cracked. His season was officially gone this time. People started to wonder how much more he had in him after these severe injuries. Going into his 14th season at age 36, this suspicion was more than reasonable. However, Rice, the workhorse, he worked tirelessly over the winter to heal his knee and try to regain his form, would be the one to make it back. In a further instance of Rice defying common sense, he went on to become the oldest receiver in history to record a 1,000-yard season. Before the unimaginable occurred, he had 2 more strong seasons. The 49ers said farewell to the enduring face of their team and decided it was time for a rebuild after suffering 2 straight losing seasons. Rice signed a contract with the Raiders following his release during the 2001 offseason. having played in 16 seasons at the age of 39.
So they
he
released him
out-tabbed
instead of
the
trading
team.
him?
Rather, Rice accomplished feats that were unique.
I mean,
to
probably.
him.
I
His
mean,
consecutive
it's Jerry
1,000
Rice,
yard
bro. So I'm
seasons
pretty sure
helped
he
the Raiders
had
win
like
their first
value
Super
back
Bowl
then.
in almost 2 decades. However, Rice lost the big game for the first time in his career. That season, the Raiders fell short against the Buccaneers despite his 77 yards and a touchdown. At 40 years old, he was awarded a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro, an incredible feat for a wide receiver. Following a disappointing 2003 campaign and the beginning of 2004, Rice made a trade demand. After being traded for a
to the
7th round
Seahawks.
pick, Rice
He
was
only
sent
had
to
one
Seattle
season with them,
6
I believe.
games into that season, but he was unable to establish himself there. He left during the next offseason to play with the Broncos. However, he never played for Denver and retired before the 2005 season began. Rice was awarded first season team All-Pro 10 times and led the league in receiving yards and touchdowns 6 times. After everything was completed, he possessed nearly every notable NFL receiving record. Notable career achievements include 1,549 receptions, 22,895 receiving yards, 14 seasons with 1,000 or more receiving yards, and a total of 208 touchdowns. Is Jerry Rice deserving of the title of the greatest of all time? Please leave your feedback in the comment section, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you gained new knowledge about the legendary figure. While you're here, remember to subscribe, and please click the subscription button and tap on the notification bell. We'll catch you on the next one.
Hey man, what do you guys think? Is Jerry Rice the GOAT? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on post notifications, get notified whenever I drop another banger video. One road to 300 subs. Let me get there for more banger NFL content like this. And without further ado, I'm out. Gang!